Good afternoon. We're just wrapping up our holidays, and I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday season as well and are geared up for an excellent 2022. This week has been a little crazy getting ready for Christmas, and I'm sure yours has too. So we've kind of got a little bit of Christmas leftovers, we'll call it, where we got the new holiday update from Tesla. There's some excellent things in there. So we'll take a little look at the UI, but we'll dig deeper on that next week. And then I also took FSD out in some small towns to take a look at how it would behave out there. Now, we just upgraded to 10.8, which is really only one step above 10.6.1 where we were before. But 10.7 and 10.8 kind of got rolled together with the holiday update, so little confusing numbering system there, but we'll get it all sorted out. But the main thing I want to share with you today is my gratitude. We started this year off at under 500 subscribers, and now we're almost to 1,000. We've had great conversations with a lot of great other channels, and I'm just so appreciative to have goofed around with the 5 count and then also looked at the important work that the Well Done Foundation is doing, talking with Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy, Brandon and Kaylee, the EV Nomads, EV Dave, and a host of others. I'm probably forgetting a lot, but it's been a very exciting year, and I'm really looking forward to all the opportunities that are coming in 2022. So first, let's take a look at some of the new UI items. The air conditioning, heat and cold controls have moved. So now we have the 70 on the side here instead of the fan in the center. If we tap that, we get the full menu. Tap it again, it goes away. If we just do an increment, we can get these quick controls, which is pretty handy. When the main panel is up, we have the power button to turn that off. So that will make it a little quieter as we look at the rest. I think this is the first update where it says Frunk here. So that's kind of fun. We see our icons are a little different in the middle, and they've just changed the look of them a little bit. But the fun thing is, if you hit this little ellipsis, you can see all the other options that you can move down there. So I like to have the energy graph there, but you might not like that there. You might want to put something else there. You could also take things away. But let's say you want the radio there, you just press and hold, bring it down, and I'm going to replace that back with the energy graph, and decide what order you want things. So that's kind of fun, and a cool way to customize things how you like. And we're not going to go into everything here. We might cover that next week, a full in-depth dive into this. I know some people love it, some people hate it. I haven't had enough experience to have a real strong opinion either way. If you hit the car icon, it brings up controls, and then you have your driver profile up here. You can select from that, and that's also where your Bluetooth and other things are. This interface is a little bit different, but most of the info is the same as was here on quick controls earlier. But now we have easier access to our mirrors and steering wheel controls without having to go into the profile settings. One thing I really like on the charging screen is you no longer have to change the settings here. You can just press and hold and drag this little arrow wherever you want to have it set. So that's really slick. And then another fun thing under autopilot, you can scroll down to automatic blind spot camera. That's a new feature. And so as you're driving, if you put on your turn signal, you will have a little box of your camera view from either your left or right side repeater. And that'll show up right here, give you a nice view of your blind spot. So that's pretty cool. A nice little safety feature I'm glad they added. And you can close this panel either by dragging it down from the top or hitting the car icon again. So pretty slick. I'm going to just put it in gear here, and we are in my garage, so it's not wanting to go anywhere. We have a fasten seatbelt sign that comes on, and if that came up before, it hasn't been nearly as noticeable. So they are adding more safety prompts in. I'm sure regulators will like that. So if we put our foot on the brake, you can see the miles per hour here is on the left. other things. It's not that different, just takes a little getting used to. But the nice thing is you can drag this visual over, and we'll see that on the drive. And then there's the new fun stuff, the new light show, and under arcade we've got Sonic the Hedgehog here. So some fun little additions and Easter eggs in the interface. We'll look more at that next week, but for now, let's catch up with me on the road on the way to testing FSD in small towns in rural Minnesota. So without further ado, let's go ahead and find a small town and see how FSD is going to behave. It looks like we've got a new icon for navigate on autopilot, so we'll check that. And we're going slow around this corner, but accelerating nicely out of it. Let me move this over. And now we got a full view of FSD. So that's pretty slick. I do like that. I was using that last night. South of the Twin Cities in Burnsville up to Lino Lakes, then down to Lesueur, Minnesota, and then back to Burnsville, all in the day, and all the way down to Lesueur, up to Lino Lakes, down to Lesueur, was on 10.6.1. And after one disengagement in Burnsville, it drove the entire rest of the way up to Lino Lakes into the, right to the driveway of the house there with no disengagements, and was pretty fantastic. This intersection is always a little bit of a trouble. Just has a hard time creeping up to this stop sign. It should be going. It's had plenty of time to do it. Just a little hesitant. There's kind of a rounded corner coming up to the left as we go around that corner. And it always has a little hard time deciding what to do. That's where we actually had the disengagement yesterday. But then it drove all the way from Lino Lakes to Lesueur, doorstep to doorstep, with I think only one other disengagement, which was just me being a little cautious. Here we're kind of going a little fits and starts getting onto the freeway, but that is smoother than it has been in the past, so pretty happy with that. I really like that blind spot camera. That works out really nice. To save camera juice, I'm going to cut here, and I'll see you when we get into a small town and we can kind of wind our way around there and see how it does in a non-urban setting. Alright, we are now on the side highway, but we're coming up to a roundabout. So I want to see, yeah, oh, good thing we caught that. That's something that's happened on the last several builds, I've noticed, where I don't know if it's the maps or route planning or what it's doing, but very frequently we'll get situations where, and we should actually be in this lane. And, stopping there, so I'm just touch the accelerator, and there it did. Kind of wanted to get into that other lane, but then we got somebody behind me who's pissed off. Okay, a couple things in sequence there. First, I wanted to take the turn lane as if that was just another lane going straight. Obviously it wasn't. It wasn't where we wanted to be routing, but it decided to jump over there, and it's doing it again here. So taking over and re-engaging, and I'll report that. That was a problem in 10.5 I had significantly, and then in 10.61 it seemed to go away a little bit. And then in the roundabout, we had a case of it setting itself up in the wrong lane to execute the turn it needed to do. So I had to change to that inner lane. And then once I was in there, you saw it turn the turn signal on as if it wanted to get into the other lane, but that would have been an exit. So still some learning on, again, the route planning and then executing on roundabouts. Now here we've got a car stopped in front of us and a motorcyclist stopped, and let's see, I'm going to, it may have given that person more space, but I wanted it to go slower. And like I said, I've got that person behind me who I ticked off in the roundabout, so I'm just gonna take this turn. And get up to speed. And like I said yesterday, I had really good experiences. It handled turns well, not always the fastest, but I wasn't really dealing with roundabouts yesterday. Another Model 3. So it's just kind of a case of it needing to learn more situations, which is why we're training it. We'll see how it does on this next roundabout. That same person's behind me, so I will be a little quick on the takeover if I need to. So this looks like it's a single entrance into the roundabout, so hopefully it handles this better with less lane confusion. Slowing down more than it needs to. I have someone new behind me. Wow, it went into that really nicely. Even though that car was coming, it could tell he was going to turn better than I could, and it went. That was really good. I had to give it a little accelerator to get up to the point of the roundabout, but otherwise that was incredible. That was the best roundabout I've had. A little extra blinker action going on, but that was really good. And that's really the thing with this point in beta, is that you have these moments of it's frustrating, you want to turn it off, and then you have these other moments of brilliance where it just shines and you can see its potential. And that roundabout was a great example of that. So I guess those two roundabouts put back to back, one was, pretty clunky and awful, and then the next one really smooth and human-like. So hopefully they all get the way that second one was, and even better, because there's even room for improvement there. But even in these every couple weeks updates, I'm seeing pretty decent improvement. Some things regress a little bit, but the general trend is it's getting better and better and more capable. I think it'll be really interesting to see next year at this time, to revisit a video like this and say, okay, what's it doing in roundabouts now? What's it doing, is it still having these little odd slowdowns? I think the term that Zach and Jesse used was whimsical hesitations, where it's not really hard braking, it's just taking off the accelerator. Just little moments like that, but that's what gets me so excited about this, is not that it's perfect and oh look, it's ready for everyone to fall asleep, but that it's improving and we're seeing the improvements over time. Okay, here we are in Lonsdale. And, okay, it's going to take a right here. Nice that it put on the turn signal before the turn lane. That's something I've wanted it to do. It hasn't done it consistently yet. That was good. That was our turn to take a right. And even though there was a car stopped and coming up behind us, it had the right of way and made the choice correctly. Happy to see that. Nice slow down here and early turn signal. It's kind of coming to a stop here, which it shouldn't be doing, but a little accelerator got us through. I think the person behind us was wondering what the heck was going on. And then this is clearly still highway, but it's speed limit saying 25, so gotta bump that up. That's a problem in rural areas of speed limits being completely wrong. At least now you can adjust for it. At least with the FSD build. A little heavy slowdown there. Taking a sweet time to get to the stop sign. Creeping forward. There's nothing coming. I think in some of these cases, and this happens in town too, that the car almost needs to sit and find out what the non-motion state is to detect, like, okay, what in the scene is not moving, and then it can project, okay, is that a car I'm seeing or not, or is it a parked car I'm seeing or not. So we are now in Montgomery, and the reason I chose Montgomery is growing up I had some cousins who lived here, so I've been to this town several times, but I'm not real familiar with it. Like right now I have no idea where we are. So as FSD beta is trying to figure out where it's going, I'll also be seeing some of these turns or intersections for the first time, or that may have been redone since I've been here last. Just to give two fresh perspectives, if it seems confused, I can tell you, well, I'd be confused here too. Went over those railroad tracks really well. It looks like we're just on the main drag here. So that must be City Hall, or where I think the center of Montgomery is. I'm going to just pull over and we'll find a new spot to navigate, and I'll clean off the windshield for you too. So we are here in Montgomery. Let's have it find its way. Let's try that. So we just kind of weave through the town here, and like with using FSD in the suburbs, it's a little tough when you're trying to get it to weave through a town and it takes the most direct route, because I want to see how it does on the small roads, and it just says, oh well, we'll take these, more main thoroughfares. So we'll see if we can get it a little bit lost here. Now it is the afternoon of Christmas, so not a lot going on. Oh man, that was bad. That was bad. In the city, that would have been fine, but the behavior it needs to exhibit in small towns is a little bit different, where it did have room to go. That guy was, there's a truck coming up on our right. He did not have a stop sign. We did. Now, small town etiquette says you let that guy, go through. Nobody's in a rush. Everything's cool. And instead, Beta's like, I got room. I'm just going to go in front of him. And here again, pausing way too long. So now that person's come up behind us. You're in a small town when you have horse droppings on the side of the road because someone went for a ride this morning. So like I said, it did have enough room, but as it was pulling out, it wasn't going fast enough, so I did add some accelerator and take it out at that point. That kind of goes back to, in my other videos, I've talked about, it needs to know when not to be a jerk. Where technically it can do something and it's okay, but you're going to make other people on the road angry. So I'd like to see improvements around that. Stop, it can go, it can go, it can go. It's still looking. And then we're at the end of our navigation, so I'll pull over here. We'll find a new spot somewhere across town. And here again, I'm picturing, a very, winding path to get there, and it's found a very efficient path, which is right and how it should behave, but just, I'm hoping to get a lot of turns in different situations, and it's just being so efficient, it's not going to bother doing all that. Nice stop and go there. We are over the railroad tracks again, and it handled that well. Alright, now this is a highway that comes through town, and so there's not fast traffic, but a fair number of cars. And it can go, yeah. Wow. Very good. It got right on it. Right about when I would have hit the accelerator, it did. So no, that's not quite where. Oh, I just picked a random spot, so that was fine. We'll try this, and then looks like it doesn't know where to end, but we'll see what that does, and then we'll try one more route here in town. Here again, we're going on to what is a highway that crosses through town. The right side is the right side was covered pretty significantly by those parked cars, but it made a good quick decision. When it didn't see anything, it just went, and no issues. That was really good execution. And over the railroad tracks again. Handling those fine. It thinks it's to the park, but I'm actually going to pull in there so it has to get out. And then we can see how it behaves on one more, and then we'll head home. All in all, I'm not seeing any difference from a small town it's never seen before, as far as I know. And the suburbs or the city. It handles most things fairly well, and then some things are a little bit of a puzzle. So I'll pick one more spot, see if it can get us out of here. Let's see how it does. We are still in the park and it let us engage, so that's good. Should be able to see this road fine. Taking its very sweet time getting out of here. It did eventually do it, but with absolutely no cars coming. It was a little puzzling why it took so long to figure that out. Aggressive on that turn. It wasn't bad, but for no traffic in a small town, didn't need to be that fast, but it was fine. That was an aggressive slowdown. Didn't need to do that. This is a weird entryway onto this highway, though. It's kind of where it had a weird turn coming into town as well. And this is the highway it thinks is 25 miles an hour, so rolling that speed up. If this is a road up to someone's farmhouse, I'm going to cancel it because I don't want to. Run gravel though, so this is a good gravel test with FSD. was interesting. It's showing the speed limit. Well, I guess that's what I have. But it's staying down at 31, so it's recognizing the gravel road for something it shouldn't go that fast on. So that's good situational awareness. I appreciate that. Staying nicely on the right-hand side. So we've lost the screen camera. That finally ran out of juice. And the other one's about to go too, so it's time to navigate home. And if anything too exciting happens, I will let you know. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your watching and interacting. It's made a huge difference and has really made doing the channel a lot more fun, having that interaction with all of you. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful, happy new year. Stay safe, and we'll see you in 2022.